he'll take it up and win. Like, yeah, that's great. It needs to happen.
He's like, I don't care as long as we can bring enough attention to it that something changes.
Yeah,
that's what it's going to take.
So the only thing I can see that would have a realistic chance of accelerating meaningful solutions to this automation wave in a 5 to 10 year time frame is if I run for president and I either win, which is very doable, I can win, or I mainstream this set of considerations to a point where other politicians are willing to tackle something like universal basic income and make it a reality in that time frame.
So, when did you guys become Yang Gang?
Man, I don't know, a few months ago. I'm really into UBI, so Universal Basic Income. I was watching a lot of stuff about that, really smart people talking about it, and then, led me to Andrew Yang, to his campaign.
So you said really smart people were talking about
Elon Musk.
And I think ultimately we will have to have some kind of universal basic income. I don't think we're going to have a choice.
Universal basic income.
Universal basic income, I think it's going to be necessary.
So it means that unemployed people will be paid across the globe.
Yeah. Because
there is no job, machine, robot is taking over.
That's simply and I want to be clear that these are not things that I think that I wish would happen. These are simply things that I think probably will happen. And if my assessment is correct and they probably will happen, then we need to say, what are we going to do about it? And I think some kind of a universal basic income is going to be necessary.
Mark Zuckerberg.
Every generation expands its definition of equality. Today, we have a level of wealth inequality that hurts everyone. We should explore ideas like universal basic income to make sure that everyone has a cushion to try new ideas.
There's also the UBI Foundation. There's a few academic groups that are studying it. So just listening to very, very intelligent people talk about this as a concept, and the reality of it is it's going to happen. It's going to happen at some point. So why not now? Why not get ahead of the issue before things get out of hand? So
it was a quote in my book. Bismarck was like, if we're going to go through a revolution, you'd rather undertake it than undergo it. It's like if the revolution's coming, then we need to get in front of it and start making it work for us instead of just waiting for it to tear us apart. Okay, so if you accept what Elon said, that it's inevitable, which I 100% agree with, let's say you go too early. What is the downside? Well, let's see. You alleviate untold, pointless human misery, and you have more time to build the institutions and help us adapt.
Yes.
That's the downside if you go too early. What's the downside if you go too late? The downside if you go too late is literal disintegration and catastrophe, because it's not like society will magically reorder itself. If you're like, okay, guys, we're a little bit late to this, but now we're going to start, putting checks into people's hands.
Yeah.
So the incentives to go early are pretty much all the incentives. It's like going too late is literally society ending. So if you accept what Elon says, which I agree with, that look, this is inevitable, then there's no point in trying to time it.
If Elon Musk is saying something, I'm paying attention because he knows what's going on with AI.
And why are they saying that it is so necessary?
Because of artificial intelligence. It's inevitable that jobs are going to be displaced. Millions and millions of people aren't going to be, valued in the market anymore. Robots are going to be able to do their jobs better. Then what's going to happen to those people? So we have to do something and get ahead of the game. We have to get ahead of it, and that's why we're here, because Andrew Yang's the only one that's talking about it.
So you're saying that all those people, like 43-year-old truck drivers, they should learn to code?
No, absolutely not. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. I think that a 43-year-old truck driver has a lot of value in this world, and learning how to code, that's crazy.
If you think about the impulse to say learn to code, what it's really saying is you need to do something that the market values.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, hey, being a truck driver, the market's not going to value that much when the trucks start driving themselves in the next 5 to 10 years. So what does the market value? And then people are like, well, coding and STEM and engineering skills. And so there's a drive to try and push people in those directions. But if you look at the numbers, about 8% of American jobs right now are in STEM fields, like in technology, engineering, math, etc. So you're talking about 92% of the population that is not in those fields, and it's unrealistic to expect that 92% to somehow shift into the 8%.
Right. We have to give these people a cushion to, be able to figure out what they're going to do and move forward in their life, and we can't just leave them stranded and depressed and all these things that are happening to these people. We've already seen it with manufacturing jobs. It's only going to keep trickling down to other industries. And Andrew Yegg's the only one talking about it, the only one talking about the realities. And that's why, I support him and hope he goes all the way. I'm here to support him the whole way.
You hear that, Yang Gang? The robots are coming.
Freedom. We're all about freedom.
Who could be against freedom?
Yeah, you can't vote against that.
Yeah, who could be against the freedom dividend? Come on, what kind of asshole do you have to be?
Yummy, 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 yummy.